Hello everyone, and welcome to my UTR Summer Session number 3 season recap. My first opponent was a UTR 3, and right from the get-go, I felt in control of the match. I went up a quick 3-0, and I knew that I had the weapons to put the ball away, and that he didn't have anything that he could do that could really hurt me. So I felt very in control, but with that came a little bit of lackadaisicalness, and he ended up coming back in the first set, and it ended up going to a tiebreak, which was insanely frustrating. I took it 7-5, but in the second set, I took him 6-0, which is how I felt the first set should have been, but still a good victory. My second opponent was a UTR 4, and you've seen this style before. He was a moonballer. He was a very defensive player, and that play style just really frustrates me. I can't hit the ball with the pace that I want to. It's not fun out there, but at the end of the day, it is a legitimate play style, and I need to figure out how to deal with it because these guys beat me consistently. And as frustrating as it is, I can't let my opinion of the play style get in the way of figuring out how to deal with it. So we had a lot of long drawn-out rallies like this where he was lobbing the ball, and I did try to move him around, but I wasn't comfortable enough to be super aggressive, so I was playing tentative myself. I ended up taking so much off of my strokes, including my serve. Everything sort of broke down after a couple of rallies like this. I started trying some new things. I hit him with a dropper. I was standing there the whole time. When I showed Caleb some of this footage, he mentioned that I should be coming to the net in those plays. And that's something that I still need to try, or that I'm going to start working on, because I was able to get him to the net. I just wasn't able to finish it once I got him there. So I want to play that forward back game. But my opponent here, he beat me 6-0, 6-2, which I didn't like. I felt the scoreline should have been better, but nonetheless. My second opponent was a UTR 3, and this was probably my favorite match of the season just because I liked my opponent's play style. He hit the ball pretty hard, and I didn't have to hold back, and I was able to dictate pace and sort of do what I want and play the aggressive play style that I want. I felt comfortable changing the direction of the ball. I felt comfortable moving things around. This was actually a set point, and that was in. And I took the first set 6-2. And in the second set, it continued. I kept my level up, which I was really happy with. And my opponent, look at that. That was some solid net play. And I was just really happy with the way I played, that I didn't let up. I pretty much dominated. I was able to break him at will.
Is that in?
And I ended up taking this one 6-2, 6-2. Caleb and I have discussed it. That might be our favorite stat line of victory because, you're comfortably beating your opponent, but maybe there's still some good tennis that's getting played. This point right here, I guess I didn't have to hit it at him, but that's where I was looking, and I didn't feel I could safely hit it into the open court. This was one of my favorite points ever, just because I was able to be super aggressive on it. I was hitting the ball as hard as I could, and I wasn't missing. And finally, I was able to put it away, which just super happy with the whole match. My fourth opponent was a UTR 3, and this was one of the more bizarre matches that I've played in my life. Her and I exchanged probably 3 or 4 words before the match. And when we started playing, I was in pretty good control. She got rattled a little easily, and her strokes would break down in a rally before mine. But she was good enough to get me, and so we had some decent rallies. If I was lazy, she would put me away. And this is one of the more bizarre exchanges right here that I've ever had in a tennis match. So that was a first serve, and let's watch what she does next. Hits me with the underarm. I don't even move, because I'm like, what the heck? And then I realize what's happened. And listen, after that happened, because she didn't say anything, I asked her, hey, can you call out the score next time before you do that? And she very tentatively was like, yeah. So what's funny about that is I had actually heard that she does this to other opponents. she'll ask them what the score was, and then while they're talking, just like sneak an underarm serve it. So like literally one of the more ridiculous encounters I've had. It was bizarre. She told me she wanted to be on the UVA tennis team, and then after the match, she was asking me like what she needed to do to move up to a UTR 4. I don't know if I'm the person to be giving that sort of advice, but I was able to end the match 6-2, 6-2, so I guess she thought I had the tools to help her. My fifth and final match was against a UTR 5, and during our warm-ups, we had literally a 50-shot rally, so I knew that this guy played very strong defensive tennis, and in the match, that proved to be true. We were out there for over 2 hours, for 2 hours total. But he was so defensive, and kind of like Jacob, I wasn't able to figure it out. I wasn't able to be aggressive enough to put the ball away, and he took the first set 6-1, and I started feeling the pressure, and by the time, I wouldn't say I figured out my opponent, because I didn't, but we had a more competitive second set, and I was able to do some things that worked. Like right there, that was some point construction. That's exactly what I wanted to do in that point. I was pretty pleased with it, but I wasn't able to consistently execute that. So he took the second set 6-3, so 6-1, 6-3. Over in all, 3-2 on the season, which is a pretty decent scoreline, but I want more wins, and I'm pretty disappointed with the 2 losses because I just felt that I should be doing better than that. So always more to work on, and at Trashman Tennis, just remember it's all about the tennis trash we've been. Stay tuned for next season.